Welcome to the Flat Track Factory. One of the really cool things about flat track racing and this channel is the amazing people that I've gotten to associate myself with. I've been fortunate enough to bring several of them to you, and I have another one today. He is a good friend of mine named Craig Pavlich. He's a vehicle dynamics engineer. I think he's got 3 hired degrees. Super smart guy, passionate flat track racer, and he comes at the sport from a much different perspective than I. And I think that he's very relatable and has a really fun story to tell. So we sat down for 3 hours, kind of in the podcast format, and I'm going to try to break that down into a couple little episodes. Here's our first one, and I'll probably put the whole thing up for those people that really enjoy the long form content. So sit back, grab a beverage, and enjoy.
Craig, half serious, half joking, or maybe entirely serious, tells me I am the worst instructor. Can you explain?
Maybe not the worst, but pretty terrible. So let's be pretty clear. Mike's motorcycle credibility comes from the fact that he's actually fast and nothing else. He cannot explain why he's fast. He can't explain how he's fast. He doesn't really know how motorcycles work. I mean, he kind of does, but he has no formal physics training. I think you're a pretty good mechanic though, So then when I would ask him a question about how do I perform an incredible maneuver, which I witness him doing repeatedly and consistently on the track, can he explain to me how to do that? Not at all. He just shakes his head and goes, Pavlich, you should find another hobby.
So there's something to be said about the difference between, well, not the difference. It's multifactorial to be a good racer. I mean, you have to have the physical flexibility and strength, and then you have to have the commitment that goes probably beyond commitment to obsession, right? To do the 5,000 repetitions and all of this sort of stuff. And then once you get to a certain level that you can do it, and then you want to become a teacher, then you have to be able to translate it. And I think that is really the holy grail, is once you get to a certain level in motorcycle racing that people are attracted to you as a racer, and they want you to tell them how to do it. That's when it becomes incredibly difficult. And people have created schools and written books about this, and I'm not convinced that anybody has really done it very well.
Well, I have 2 points on that, and you and I, we've had all these conversations before, but we're reiterating them now for the viewers. So, one point is the old Kenny Roberts story, which is he was sitting there. I don't remember what the track was, but he was sitting there thinking about his last lap, and he went out and was able to gain a 1.5 seconds just by figuring out a corner or something by going through it in his mind. And so there's certainly an aspect of all racing, which is the mental aspect of knowing what to do and figuring out what the next move that you need to learn how to make, or the next maneuver that you need to master in order to take that next step is. And that's one of the reasons that I think you'll find a lot of intelligent people are very engaged in racing, is because there's a huge mental aspect of it. But that said, just knowing what to do and doing it are 2 completely different things. And there's a level of repetition. So even once you are aware of exactly what to do, there's a level of repetition that cannot be replaced. And that's sort of the bills that I haven't paid, that you have paid. That is the difference between the skill level, is that I'm even potentially aware of what I should be doing, but I'm not able to do because of not having enough practical experience. And so, it's a little bit of honest to goodness joshing, because I probably could explain the maneuver that I would need to do next to become better than you can, but that in no way assists me in doing it. So it's a challenge. But I mean, and it's hard also to be at a high level of proficiency in anything, because, maybe the step that you took to get from, to cross this bridge happened 30 years ago, Mike. Like, it could have happened when you were 16 years old. So you don't remember exactly what the next step is.
I've told you this story before, and Craig and I laugh about this because it's kind of an ongoing joke that I never think is not funny, and poor Craig definitely knows it's not. But it's the KX500 thing.
The KX500. It is funny. Come on.
I was a huge KX500, two-stroke monster, motocross bike when Kawasaki still made them. That was my go-to bike growing up in New Mexico, and I like every couple of months I have to send him a picture like, hey, did you know I had a KX500? I've been telling this for like 15 years. It's like, yes,
we know.
And, it's never.
You found a way to work the KX500 even to this conversation. You just worked it in.
So to Craig's point, and I'll try to prime the conversation that I think that getting to a certain level of success in motorsports takes maybe irresponsibility and stupidity, and I think Craig's too smart to be a pro level motorcycle racer. And to that point, and the KX500, I was out riding with my buddies when I was 16 years old on the KX500, and in the deserts of New Mexico. And I found this cutout where the gravel mining pit dump trucks would go back and forth, and they built up this road in an arroyo, and it's basically a dry riverbed. So they would build it up to cross it, and it would wash out, and they'd rebuild it. So it was built up, and there was a super cupped, sharp edge to it. And I would ride this way and hit that lip and jump up over the road, upstream into the dry riverbed. And one of the guys that was riding, of course, I would do this 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and my friends would get bored and leave. And one of them was sitting up on a hill watching me, and he came down and said, everybody else had left. He comes back down and says, you could jump over one of those dump trucks, because I would stop when the dump trucks would come. And it got me thinking. So eventually we ended up doing that. But the point of the story is
before everybody had a video camera, otherwise we would have had that.
No, there's a picture. That's the picture
I've seen the picture. I've seen the picture.
If I would have thought ahead, I would have got it and shown you once more. More. I'll email it to you later. Just in case
you just post it in the video. Just pop it up there.
Yeah, okay, I'll post it. But the point of the story is normal. What I think normal, well-adjusted people would do when they go out riding with their buddies, is they would do that 1 or 2 or 3 times, and they move on and do something else. And I would find this, and I would find inefficiencies, and I would find deficiencies in my riding, and I would think, I could do this better. I had to do it one more time. I do it one more time, and the next thing you know, the sun is down. And I have been doing this with no lack of interest for hours. Sometimes run out of gas. And, talk about that, Craig.
Mike, I think. Mike, I think anybody who knows you would agree that there's some obsessive compulsive behavior going on there, for sure. Pretty much everything that you do finds a way to obsessive and compulsive behavior, I would say. But so we talked about that, last time you and I talked. And so there's a little bit of nuance in that conversation, because there's 2 pieces to it. One of them is that desire to do repetition and improve. And so that's a big thing that I think also drives me, and what I am attracted to about racing motorcycles versus street riding or cruising with my buddies is my favorite part is to go out there and work the track and try to find that nugget of knowledge about how to ride that I didn't get before. And if I come home from a weekend with that nugget, I feel thrilled because I figured something out. And that's my goal. That's the trophy that I'm getting for doing this, because I'm sure as hell not getting a lot of trophies at my skill level right now. But that's the trophy, is to get the nugget of knowledge to improve and feel like you're making progress. And even though I'm an old guy with kids and a family and all that, you can still get that rush and get that knowledge at any level and work it forward. But that said, the other topic that I wanted to talk about is, what I call the soul racer concept, which I think was coined in a magazine a couple of years ago. And that's the idea of it's just a hobby, and to not take it too seriously and to not get overcommitted, because 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 it is supposed to be fun and you're supposed to fill in the time. And certainly at my age, I'm not going to be Valentino Rossi. Just like he says, everybody who tries it thinks they'll be the best. Well, I did think that when I was 22, and then I ran out of money right away and got blitzed by all the people who actually knew what they were doing. And pretty quickly, I realized I was just going to become a motorcycle hobbyist. And I've toned it down. And so, there's a certain aspect where, I wish I could accomplish what you have, but there's a certain aspect where I'm happy with my results given my commitment level. And that's what it's all about is what's the thing? Realistic expectations are the key to happiness in life, right? So if I have realistic expectations about what I'm going to achieve for the commitment level that I'm putting in, then I'm going to have fun. And if I have unrealistic expectations or I'm overcommitted and not getting the results, then I'm not going to have fun. And anybody who knows me, and some of the guys will see me with the t-shirt at the track, maybe you recognize my bike. I'm really having a good time when I'm at the track. So I'm never upset. As long as I'm not injured or nobody's injured, I'm having a blast, and I don't care if I get beat. And Rubbin's racing, and we're all out there to have a good time. So it's not a contest to me. That's my vacation.
Hang on a second. You've made it to the end of a Flat Track Factory video. Do the channel a favor and click the like button and the subscribe button so you'll be notified when our next video comes out. Some people have asked how to support the channel financially, and there's a link to do that down in the description. Thanks for watching.